let's flash back to Saturday, because we are now 20. That's right, 20 days away from Selection Sunday, my friend. The madness is almost upon us. And the Selection Committee, they're rolling out a little bit of tease for us here. They revealed or unveiled right now their top 16 overall seeds. So the 1 seeds through the 4 seeds. I'll let you run through the list here, and basically give me your biggest takeaways here, and we'll get through it. Who was underseeded, who was overseeded, but your biggest reaction to the Selection Committee rolling out the top 16 seeds was what?
Well, let's go ahead and give you the 16 seeds first. Number 1 was Michigan. Number 2, Duke. 3, Arizona. 4, Iowa State. 5, UConn. 6, Houston. 7, the ILL, also known as Illinois. 8, Purdue. 9, Florida. 10, Kansas. 11, Nebraska. 12, Gonzaga. 13, Texas Tech. 14, Michigan State. 15, Vanderbilt. And 16, Virginia. For the most part, they got it right. The 2 gripes that I had, let's first start off with a team that I felt was way overseeded, and that being Texas Tech at number 13. Again, no JT Toppin for the rest of the year. Dunzo brutally with that torn ACL. They didn't knock him. They didn't dock him. And that to me is strange. A little bit of head scratching, because historically we have seen the committee, they take the current rosters completely into account, and they usually knock a squad if they're missing one of their key or star players. And JT Toppin is certainly that guy, one of the best, if not the best, big men when on the floor in all of college basketball. And I look at the service analytics, Texas Tech is more than deserving of being a top 4 seed, as number 14 right now in the net, number 5 in terms of overall strength of schedule, number 22 in non-conference strength of schedule, and those are excellent measurements. 4-4 in true road games, and under scoff at there, 7-7 in quadrant 1 games, and they're 16 in wins above bubble. And we heard that from Gavitt, the vice president of college basketball, the NCAA, and said that WAB, also known as wins above bubble, has become more and more valuable in the minds of the selection committee members. So that is something that has certainly weighed, and maybe that was influential in this initial ranking. You look at Texas Tech, or see the rest of the season schedule: Cincinnati at Iowa State, TCU at BYU. They got to beat Cincinnati. They got to beat a bubblicious TCU team if they want to remain as a member of the top 4 seed lines, and maybe split between Iowa State and BYU on the road, win a game or 2 as well. In the Big 12 tournament, they do that. They could be high as a 3 seed. So that, again, right now at number 13 overall, again, I felt they were overseeded without JT Toppin, but, that's going to play out here rest of season. And then meanwhile, a team that I felt was underseeded, the Florida Gators, at number 9 overall. There was a strong argument that this Gators team could be on the 2 line. Now, right now, with this reveal, they would be the highest number 3 seed. But if they, win the SEC outright the regular season, and they're like minus 2,000 odds right now on BetMGM to accomplish that feat. So it seems like a foregone conclusion. They're number 7 in the net. They play the 9th toughest overall strength of schedule. Very tough non-conference strength of schedule of 24. They're 6-2 in true road games, Pat. 8-5 in quadrant 1 games as well. But that WAB, wins above bubble, I think was a very influential factor. Number 14 in that category. So, even further down the list, are they in, that specific category? And that might be the difference of having them on the 3 line instead of being on the 2, and they have Purdue just ahead of them. I mean, my vote would be Florida should be a 2 seed, because you look at the SEC, whether you're looking at Kempom, whether you're looking at Torvik, whether you're looking at Peabody Massey, whether you're looking at Haslametrics, whatever advanced metric site there is, that is a conference that's number 1 overall in the power rankings. So that has to be weighed. That has to be valued in somewhere. So, when push comes to shove, the dust settles. At the end of the day, Selection Sunday. If Florida finishes strong, they're at Texas. They have Arkansas at home, Mississippi State at home, at Kentucky. If they hypothetically went out there, win a couple of games, the SEC tournament, don't even win the automatic berth in that exercise. And this is a team that's got to be on the number 2 seed line, because the resume is that stellar in that spectacular, and they've been playing at an extraordinary high level. According to Bart Torvik, they're number 2 overall in terms of efficiency numbers the last 30 days. So again, overseeded Texas Tech, underseeded Florida. Outside of that, the committee got it right. And of course, it was immediately irrelevant as a number of top teams caught the L's over the weekend. Most notably Iowa State. I have UConn now as the last number 1 seed, and really the consensus at the bracket matrix among the 120 plus bracketologists track there concur with that sentiment. So again, I think the committee did a fairly good job. Just a couple of gripes that I had, and I already laid the case out why.
Yeah, I agree with you on Texas Tech. My biggest gripe is how the heck is Vanderbilt still a top 4 seed right now? I mean, they're under 500 in the last month and a half. I know they got off to a 16-0 start, and we were wondering, can this team do something special? Let's not act like the SEC is what it was last year, Brad. And let's look at their losses here because they lost on the road to Texas by 16. That was their first loss of the season. Since then, the wheels have fallen off here for Vanderbilt. They lost to Vanderbilt, Arkansas by 25 points. They lost at home, unranked Oklahoma. Lost on the road, unranked Missouri. Lost at home, unranked Tennessee. This team has been incredibly mediocre here over the last month and a half. You're telling me this is a top 4 seed, buoyed by what they did in the first month and a half of the season where they beat, wait for it, 1 ranked team? They beat 1 ranked team on their way to a 16-0 start, and it was Alabama, who's got just as much problems as they do lately. I don't understand how Vanderbilt is a top 4 seed. That's my biggest issue.
Yeah, and I understand the gripe there. I think the case for Vanderbilt is as simple as this. I mean, you look at the wins above bubble, that is an argument for your side of the equation here. They're number 20 in that category. And if that's valued so heavily, they should have been on the outside looking in. They only have 2 quadrant 1A wins, which are the la creme de la creme, if you will, of quadrant 1 wins. But overall in the quadrant 1 category, they have 7 of those wins. No bad losses over the overall resume. Very strong strength of schedule as well. Those all played influential factors, but there is definitely an argument on your side of things that they should have been outside the top 16 overall, especially considering the wins above bubble ranking and the fact, too, they only have 2 quad 1A wins. By comparison, you look at a number of teams that have a handful of quad 1A wins in that category. So, yeah, much to, shake out before the dust officially settles on Selection Sunday. But I understand where you're coming from, and I honestly feel that is a legitimate gripe.
Yeah, and again, with the whole Texas Tech thing, I feel like we do this in college football where it might not be an injury, or I guess, it can be an injury. JT Toppin's out for the year. He's out. He's not coming back. Like, are we going to pretend like Texas Tech is going to be some different squad without him? I get you want to give the benefit of the doubt to see what Texas Tech can do without JT Toppin. Again, and they beat down on lowly Kansas State, who we talked about firing Jerome Tang last week. But a couple of days before that, they went on the road and lost to Arizona State in the game that he got hurt in. I don't know, man. Like, you can't have somebody that valuable go down for a season-ending injury and be like, hey, we're still going to put Texas Tech here. But then all of a sudden, if they lose to BYU in the last game of the regular season, and then what? They're going to get dropped to a 6 or a 7 seed? Just be transparent about it. That's the kind of stuff I think that bugs me. But I don't know. Maybe there is something to be said about being given the benefit of the doubt, considering they hadn't played a game when that list came out on Saturday, and then they ended up beating lowly Kansas State.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's an argument, but they're going to be tested here down the stretch. Again, let me read you the rest of the season schedule. Cincinnati at home. Remember, Cincinnati just waltzed into Fog Allen and clocked Kansas by 18. Worst home loss that Kansas had ever at Fog Allen in the history of that esteemed building. At Iowa State, another quadrant 1 opportunity. TCU bubble-issues matchup at BYU. A quadrant 1 opportunity. Of course, additional quad 1 opportunities in the Big 12 tournament. I honestly felt that Texas Tech should have been a 5 seed because I did ding them and penalize them with JT Toppin being sidelined. I mean, he's 30% of their shots, 30% essentially of their overall offense. And he's even more valuable than that because of the kickout action that he generates with the double teams to Christian Anderson, Atwell, and those guys are sharpshooter extraordinaires, largely because of wide open threes that they get because teams are having to account and double team for JD Toppin and his awesomeness in the interior. So I think things will balance out when it's all said and done. But yeah, Texas Tech right now, inexplicably still a number 4 seed, should have been a number 5 seed. They should have gotten dinged not having JT Toppin on the floor. But as I mentioned to you, I think it'll work itself out before the official field is revealed on March the 15th.